Hey everybody, Josh Runquist here for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel, here for another edition of Out Today and What I Missed, this time for the very first week of May 2025. That's right, we're covering May 2nd, 2025 with 20 brand new albums. And at the end of this, we will have covered 390 albums in 2025 so far, so there's no time to dilly-dally. Let's get into it. First up, we have Crematory with Destination. It's astounding how this is the 17th album from this German mainstay, and they somehow still sound as fresh as when it started all the way back in 1993. The album is filled to the brim with sorrow-driven, gothic metal that just has the slightest tinges of industrial in just the right spots. This is the most gothic album the band has put out in quite a while, and I appreciate it for that, but it never loses sight of the industrial aspects that they started incorporating along the way. The songs are catchy, be it more up-tempo or when it gets slower and more broody. If you've never heard Crematory before, but you enjoy the likes of Tiamat, Moonspell, Dark Tranquility, you really need to get into Crematory. And in speaking of a band like Typo Negative, don't skip out on their cover of My Girlfriend's Girlfriend. Nothing can ever compete with the original, but they give it pure justice. This is easily one of the best albums that they've put out, and it's great to see how far they've come in 33 years. Destination is a killer album that is worthy of your attention. Next, we have A Flock Named Murder with Incendiary Sanctum. The sophomore album from this Toronto band combines the best elements of black metal, death metal, and post-rock all rolled into one, and makes it feel so seamless. They know how to channel their inner Agalok and Fen as much as they can their inner Ulcerate and the extreme ends of Inter Arma. The album is only 4 songs, but the shortest one comes in at 13 minutes and 6 seconds, and the longest 17 minutes and 27 seconds, so if you don't like epics, this will not be for you. Thankfully, at least to my ears, the songs go in so many different directions, and it feels so natural, and that hour and 4 minutes just flies by. The production is a bit raw, but it's still punchy and has a lot of kick to it. The album cover simply rules. This is magnificent work and a stunning display of how to push the boundaries of the more extreme metal genres into ways that feel so natural when it comes into writing more somber post-rock elements. It's not an easy thing to achieve, but when they nail it, they nail it. If this is your style, please give this one a proper shot. Now we have Hate with Bellum Regis. Polish black and death metal feels as natural as Australian prog metal or Canadian tech death at this point, but when it's done right, you remember why it's so awesome. That's what Hate does with their 13th album, somehow getting even better with age and more brutal and evil in the process. Hate is putting other bands in the genre to shame with their display of tenacious blackened death metal. The production is on point and the songwriting knows when to let things ride and when to keep things a bit simpler. If you somehow never heard this band but you dig the likes of Behemoth, God Dethroned, and Belphegor, you need to check out Hate. They have been crafting their sound for 29 years now, and it's only gotten better and better. Just check it out for yourself. Now we have Labyrinthus Stellarum with Rift in Reality. One of the best black metal albums of the year is finally upon us with the 3rd album in 3 years from this Ukrainian duo. While only forming back in 2021, the band has vastly improved on every album, and this is easily their best album released to date. They have this astounding way of combining cosmic and atmospheric black metal with a more industrial, electronic, and EDM sound to create a band that sounds like no other in the best way possible. The band has their signature sound intact since the beginning, but every album has come with one vast improvement: the production. This is easily their best sounding album yet, and it just makes everything on display sound incredible. You truly feel like you're trapped in the middle of the universe and are caught in between sheer terror and absolute wonder of the sights in front of you. At 37 minutes and 18 seconds, this couldn't feel like a better album length for this style. I can't say it enough, this is one of the best black metal albums of 2025, as they have nailed genre bending and pushed it to the next level. Despite having this album for quite a bit of time now, it only gets better with every repeat listen. Even if you don't like black metal, there's a good chance that you can fall in love with Labyrinthus Stellarum. Next is Leper Colony with Those of the Morbid. The sophomore album from this all-star old-school death metal band is that classic style of OSDM that just works perfectly, featuring past and present members of Morgoth, Massacre, Consumption, and Paganizer. This is a band that knows how to just be brutal enough without losing any of the melody and harmony that made the late 80s, early 90s death metal scene so memorable. This is Obituary meets old-school death meets Hail of Bullets meets Pestilence in all of the best ways. ways. The production is that classic sound, the songwriting is exactly what it needs to be, and it's all performed magnificently. This is how you make what's old new again. If you need that in 2025, you need Leper Colony right now. Now we have Maestric with Espresso della Vita Lunaire. This is the third album from this Brazilian progressive power metal band, and it scratches an itch that desperately needed to be scratched. In what feels like a very unreal mix of the power metal side of Angra meets the prog quirkiness of a band like Haken, Maestric is the definition of progressive power metal. That's why they're so appropriately and hopefully going to be playing Prog Power USA this year, in what I'm sure will be an unreal set, as long as it actually happens, thanks to, those good old visa issues of the US. The music is so dense and rewarding to listen to with every repeated listen. The production is rich and full, and the performances on hand are simply astounding. This is incredible work from a band that knows how to push the boundaries of all the genres that they want to be able to incorporate, while still keeping things very musical. A very rare feat, and one to herald when done right. If you fit into that prog power side of things, you need to get acquainted with Maestric right now. You'll be so glad that you did. Up now we got Nightfall with Children of Eve. This week has been filled with legendary bands with prolific careers, putting out albums, and here is another one from a great band that's been around for 33 years. With their 11th album, the latest incarnation of Nightfall features the band's best work to date, hitting so many different genres of symphonic metal, mellow black, gothic death doom, and so much more. But with one key difference, all of it makes sense together. The album flows together so naturally and is performed to some of the best abilities that you'll ever hear all year at a band like this. Whether it is a blast beat assault or going into some dirge-ridden doom, the band hits it all and makes it work effortlessly. This is easily for those who enjoy the likes of Rotting Christ, Septic Flesh, Moonspell, Paradise Lost, and so many more. If you've ever missed out on Nightfall, you need to remedy that immediately, as this is one of the best albums of this style in 2025, and it'll only take one listen to understand why. And finally, for brand new albums out today is the debut album from Paradise Slaves, with the album With Hell in His Eyes. The brand new album from this all-star metalcore band presents past and present members of 36 Crazy Fists, Diecast, and even Pentagram, and it's something that immediately takes me back to 2004 in all of the best ways. It reminds me of why I fell in love with second wave metalcore in the first place, and I discovered all these bands like the aforementioned 36 Crazy Fists and Diecast. It's just that perfect blend of knowing how to hit that hardcore, metalcore, and some of the catchiest choruses that you've heard in this side of heavy music. This is a band that feels very nostalgic. It even feels like it was recorded between 2002 and 2003, but it also hits enough of a modern tinge to make it all make sense in 2025 and not just a nostalgic cash grab. It's for anyone who has enjoyed the 21st century era of metalcore, both old and new. If you want to know why this genre worked in the first place, check out some of the best workhorse musicians of the genre together in Paradise Slaves, putting out one of the best albums of the genre in 2025. And now for all the albums that I missed along the way, starting with the band Afgran with Cosmic Ecstasy. The debut album from this Finnish band took me by complete surprise, mixing the styles of gothic, industrial, rock, and heavy metal all rolled into one horror-tinged package is a catchy and rewarding experience. The band knows when to get heavy, when to focus on the catchier moments, all without losing the intensity that comes from either side of the musical spectrum. The production is so polished, and the songwriting explores so much territory without losing any of the substance. It's instantly catchy and will be an earworm in your head for days, so be prepared for that. It's hard to narrow down similar bands, but if you like moments from musicians like Wednesday 13, Rammstein, In Flames, Lordi, and even Moonspell, you will find something to love about Afgran. Now we have Bloody Valkyria with In Our Home Across the Fog. The sophomore album from this one-man Finnish band is some of the most expansive and audibly pleasing raw metal black that I've heard all year. While the production again is a bit on the raw side, the musicianship and the songwriting on display more than makes up for any shortcomings that you might find with the production. It's so dense and layered with its orchestration and instrumentation, all while being able to pick out any of the sounds that you're looking for in the process. It's a mystifying album that hits all of the right moments that you're looking for. It feels like a mix of third wave black metal meets mellow black meets symphonic black metal all rolled into one raw underground package. While this won't be for everyone, if you enjoy this style, you'll be hard pressed to find anything that sounds more earnest in 2025. And if you don't mind a raw production, this is a mellow black album made for you. And now we have the self-titled debut from Changeling. Fountainhead returns with a new project that is, well, everything that Obscura fans have wanted for a long, long time. It's the perfect balance of how to write a progressive and technical death metal album, all while adding enough nuance and substance into every track. It feels otherworldly and demonic, as it is angelic and beautiful in just the right moments. The leads on this album absolutely sell the album, and they're utterly insane, and are done in such a way that'll make your jaw drop. I know it did the first time that I heard it. The production on this album is top notch, and the songwriting and musicianship are everything that you'd expect from a band featuring past and present members of Obscura, Alkaloid, Fear Factory, and Vipassy. Simply put, if you want an extreme display of how to create beautiful and brutal progressive tech death with 100% not stolen riffs, you need to check out Changeling. Now we have Ghost with Skeletor. It will always astound me when a band gets so popular in fact, that it becomes a punching bag for simply existing in a year like 2025. And in a year, 2025, no one's forcing you to listen to said band. Unless Ghost is blasting in your ears every day at your place of work, maybe your kids are blasting Ghost all the time, etc. There's literally no one forcing you to listen to them. And it's baffling to me that people hold such hatred for a band that is simply just trying to have fun. This is Skeletor in a nutshell. It is a more guitar-centric Ghost album that does have its fair share of poppier and catchier moments, but there are plenty of heavy riffs, double bass, and some classic heavy metal stuff going on. Of course, that will not be enough for those that hate them. I wouldn't expect it to, and this will not be an album that will make you go from a hater to a fan. Why would it? This is a band that is still going forward into their sound and starting as a more 70s occult rock band, and now really hitting that mid to late 80s and 90s AOR sound, and just really writing catchy songs that no matter how heavy or mainstream you like your music, you might be able to find something to appreciate. I can hear as many moments of bands like Rush as I do Faith No More on this, along with that AOR sound, which is a cool thing to see. The production feels like an album that was made in 1987, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Look, Ghost is a gimmick band that found a niche, and they capitalized it on a way that has made them one of the most popular bands in the current world of rock and metal music. If you are reading this, I'm pretty sure you can't say the same thing. If you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing as well. If you hate them, continue to do so, but also remember, your misery from hating them is self-inflicted. You allowed them to live in your head, rent-free, when you could have just easily listened to what you want. It's not their fault, it's yours. So calm down and move on. For the rest of us, this is one of the best Ghost albums to date, and I can't wait to see what the next chapter has in store. Now we have Heavylution with The Cycle. It may have taken a decade for the sophomore album from this French band to see the light of day, but it was more than worth the wait. With a wicked sense of heavy metal, power metal, the occasional AOR tendencies, and additional twists and turns, Heavylution has taken their sound to the next level. The songs are so catchy, and the songwriting on display for it all is exactly what the tracks need to be. Whether it gets a little dark or a little less dark, everything here is emotional, and it leads you on an incredible journey from start to finish. While it is not the cheeriest album in the slightest, at least it's a great soundtrack to our potential demise. Heavylution knocked it out of the park with The Cycle, and I hope for the next album, The Cycle will continue, although hopefully a little sooner than a decade from now. Also sorry for the pun. Now we have Karg with Marauder. Was the latest Harakiri for the Sky album not enough heartache for you? Well, it continues with the latest Karg album. JJ from Harakiri's 9th album is a sheer tearjerker of an album, and while I don't speak German, I don't need to know every word to know that this album will crush your soul just from the vocal delivery alone. The music also features more melody and harmony than you would get from a Harakiri album, in a way that's a little more, what's the right word? Uplifting? No, that's not it. Cathartic? Well, I think that's true of both bands. Let's just say less sad? Yeah, that's the best way I can give it. A little less sad. Don't get me wrong, this will make you tear up if you let it. I know that new Harakiri did, but it's also just so beautiful in its delivery, and it just might even mask some of the pain inside because of that beauty. The production is some of the best that a Karg album has had to date, and if you want a great pairing with that new Harakiri album, but you want it to just be different enough, you need to check out Karg immediately. It's what you need in sad, depressing music. Now we have Promised Downfall with Catharsis. The debut album from this German act is some stellar metalcore. It hits all the right elements of metalcore from its heaviest moments to the excellent and contagious sing-along choruses. The band delivers songs for everyone in this modern rock, modern metal world. The production is polished and pristine, and the songwriting has zero fads. It's just lean and mean, and it's exactly what every song is called for. Whether you're more into Periphery, I Prevail, Set Your Sails, or even Asking Alexandria, at least the older stuff anyways, you will find something to enjoy here with Promised Downfall. The album is more than lives up to its title. It's a rough listen, especially lyrically, but it couldn't be more cathartic. Yeah, I'm sorry for the pun. Now we have 7th with Pink Noise Youth, and I'll just say right off the bat, I really am not a fan of bands taking out the vowels in their names, just say 7th. But the 4th album from this Italian post-black band is what makes the genre so exciting. A band that knows how to focus on both sides of the post-black genre, meaning black metal and post-rock. This is as much on the dark side of things as it is the lighter side of post-rock, and it keeps everything in perfect balance, never going too far into one direction or the other. I can hear as much from bands like Violet Cold as I do Agalloch, as I do Pelican, as I do Junius. It's a rewarding listen for anyone who enjoys both sides of the genre and wants to hear them more explored. The production is not too raw yet not too clean, just right in the middle, which seems to be a trend with this band. As the songwriting can be elongated at times, it is called for in the music. I mean, that's what post-rock is all about. This is the kind of music I can relax to and go through all kinds of different musical emotions. I simply love what's going on here, and I hope that this album and the direction the band continues to explore here will continue going forward. Balancing both sides is not easy, but as a listener, it is so effective. And maybe add some ease into your name. Now we have Stellar Veil with Culling the Hearts of the World. The debut album from this Greek band is everything that AOR has to offer and more. From the soaring vocals, to the exceptional guitar riffs and solos, to some of the finest songwriting the genre has seen in the 21st century. The band has learned from their elder AOR bands and took what works from the best of them to create an album that doesn't just hit hard musically, but lyrically as well. It never gets too heavy musically or emotionally, but it never gets too poppy lyrically or emotionally either. It balances that fine line and making both sides of the line very happy. Simply put, if you love AOR, you will love Stellar Veil. It's just what you needed in 2025. Now we have Tribunal with Impenitence and Ruin. The sophomore album from this BC band hits me like a slow, brooding sucker punch to the soul. I completely missed the boat on their debut album back in 2023 before I was able to cover it, and I regretted it ever since. So I had to make sure that I caught this one at a reasonable time because I didn't get the promo, as it's not only a worthy successor to their debut album, but it's one of the finest examples of gothic doom in the 2020s so far. It's that perfect blend of dark, soul-crushing, depressing, and just a tad bit whimsical style of gothic doom. It gives you everything from bands like My Dying Bride, to Draconian, to even Theater of Tragedy, or even Shape of Despair. I can't even begin to describe how effective their sound is in a short style video like this, but I can say that with how this is done, even the most apprehensive person towards doom can find something to love about this one. It never hits that funeral doom style, it never gets into the hymn style goth rock, it's right in the middle with that sweet Peaceville 3 sound that I wouldn't want any other way. This is magnificent work that is going to be one of my top doom albums of 2025. This is my kind of doom through and through, and once you know it, it may be for you as well. Up now is one of my most anticipated albums of 2025, and it totally delivers. The sophomore album from Venator, known as Psychodrome. Their sophomore album is something that I've been waiting to hear for a long time, basically ever since their debut album came out, and I'm so happy it's finally here. With the Austrian band's second album, it is a bit more rockin' than it is like straight up metal. It fits their sound. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you love the debut album, everything you loved about that album is here. It has that revival metal sound down to its core, but this feels a little catchier. It hits a little more on the hard rock side of things at times, and it's just a great thing to see that the band is not putting out the same album twice. The production still has that mid to late 80s sound. It really has that underground vibe to it all, and the songwriting is just so lean and mean. If you enjoy the likes of Haunt, Savage Master, Portrait, or Night Demon, Venator is a band that you need in your collection as soon as you can. This is how it's done, folks. And finally, for brand new albums that I've missed along the way, is Visionatica with Harrowing Insight. Can I just say off the bat how nice it is to hear a symphonic metal band that still has symphonics in their sound and didn't trade all of it away for the modern metal sound? I mean, sure, there's some modern stuff going on here, there's some electronics and industrial stuff going on, but it still has the symphonics, and you can't take that for granted in 2025. Not anymore. But the third album from this German band is that perfect blend of symphonic, pop, metal, hard rock, electronic, and otherworldly moments that feels just so catchy and authentic. The production is not overly polished, but it hits so hard with its punchiness and clarity. The songwriting never drags, and it always takes you on this great journey through all of its dark, twisted tales on display. This is easily for those who enjoy the likes of Visions of Atlantis and the older albums of bands like Delane and Within Temptation, but just a little darker, more horror-ish, a little more spooky. If that's what you're looking for, Visionatica is a band that you need in your life. Get prepared for the ride. And there you go, folks, another 20 albums down, and wouldn't you know it, 390 albums I've covered in 2025 so far. So what do you think? Did I pick out some good albums this week? Some bad albums? Anything that you're interested in checking out? Anything you're gonna steer away from? Anything I missed along the way? Please let me know down below. And of course, continue to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. The channel continues to grow every single week, and I can't thank you enough for that. And make sure to come back next week as we do Out Today and What I Missed for May 9th, 2025. And until then, for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel, this is Josh Runquist saying, embrace the skillet.